Hey, welcome back to the Smokin Joe's cave. Doing another episode. We're back. We had a little hiatus. For about a week. I just got back from the Himalayas, climbing Mount Everest. So I'm a little tired. So we'll get through it. So we're back at it. Dave's got his hat on. It is a little chilly in the man cave today, but we'll tough it out. So we've talked about, of our first 3 episodes. Been a lot of fun. We've got a little feedback from our friends.
Little feedback,
so we're really happy about that. Your niece gave a little feedback to you.
Yeah, she did.
And some of our friends. And hopefully we can get them on here so we can see how much
Doors
they lie.
open always, they can come in.
Doors open, so see how much they actually lie or tell the truth. So let's begin. We're going to do a little bit, something a little different we haven't done yet. We're going to do like a quick shout out for our shows to some special people or people that, we just want to acknowledge. And I would first like to start out with, I want to acknowledge Steve Weiler for...
Stevie, yep.
Yeah, Stevie lives in Carolina, and he said he's seen our show and he wants to come on the show sometime. So that'd be great to have him. That would be a lot of fun because he's something else sometimes. But and his brother David and our friends in Sandusky, if you want to go over some of them.
Well, I'd like to do a shout out to and I didn't mention this before, our good friend Bill Cronin,
Yes.
who's been watching.
Oh, exactly.
He says he wants to join the conversation, so come on in, Bill.
Yeah, maybe we can Skype you.
Yeah, we'll Skype you, put you on,
You gotta
make
wear,
you famous.
Yeah, you gotta wear all black like the Riddler, like we used to do. We used to call you the Riddler. So that'd be fun.
Yeah,
and we got Mark. And,
Yeah.
Obviously Teddy and Dee and all our friends in Sandusky. And I want to give a shout out to my 2 kids, Emily and Ben.
Yep. I'll give a shout out to my 2 kids.
Our boss.
We're back there behind the camera.
We're gonna get him out here one of these days.
Yeah, well, actually, I'd like to get both of them out here together.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can have like a family day.
Did they fight and argue?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're perfect.
Oh, that's like I should get my 2 brothers, get my brother John out here so we can start arguing and fighting about stuff.
I had to break it up.
Yeah. I was going to ask John what it was like to play with me in high school, being his hero. I'm sure he would enjoy that. Okay, so that's for a shout out. Another little shout out. When you and I were growing up, we grew up in a great era. The only thing that we didn't have compared to other people is we didn't have junior high sports.
Right, we did not. You're right. Yep. In Merrill.
It was in the 70s, the oil crisis and oil embargo and all that. So they got rid of junior high basketball, and they had it before us, and they had it after us. But there was like a 3 or 4 year period that we're the only ones in Sandusky that never played junior high sports.
Yeah.
And
we played each other.
We played intramurals,
yeah.
But that was fine. But you get a little tired of that. We didn't play any other competition until we were freshmen.
Yeah, that was
football,
a different
basketball.
time for sure.
It's like the first time you go on a basketball game as a freshman. You never played a team. I remember we were at Vassar as freshmen.
Yeah.
First time you go to the court, you're playing some other team. I was all fired up. I was 1 for 19 in the first half. There wasn't a shot I liked. So,
Yeah, that one was a layup, right? You mean?
No, that was Mitch making it for the other team, I think. Wasn't it? He did that once. But yeah, it was. But we always had heroes, right?
We did, yeah. Sure.
People were looked up to. And who'd you look up to growing up as a kid?
Well, actually, I'd have to say probably since we were like tight family.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to say somebody family-wise. Probably my 2 first cousins that were in Sandusky with me. They were older, but they were wearing that Sandusky uniform and around, and it was something that I eventually wanted to do. They were football players, all Gap and Jimmy Sanchez. They were
right.
We were close.
And I know Gap and Jimmy really well.
Right.
Okay.
So those
I
were the guys.
see by the number of your hat. What number did Jimmy wear in high
Jimmy
school?
was 55. Actually, good point. I wore.
What number did? Yeah, you wore number 55 because I remember you always looked up to Jimmy.
Yep.
And Gap.
Yeah.
And they were always good to us.
They were. They made us part of it. Kind of puffed us up.
Well, we're going to talk about family in another show, like how we look up to them, and I want to get into your family and how the Brock boys.
Oh yeah.
Told the story one time,
Right.
and Greg,
Yep.
Little boys, and I want you to tell that story someday because it's a great story
Yeah,
about those
great.
little kids and that family is beautiful.
Yep.
I love going over there.
Yep. They were. Great
So we'll
family.
get into that sometime. So
Yeah.
you had Jimmy and Gap.
Yep. Definitely they were.
One guy I looked up to as a young kid because my parents were like best friends with Ford Maxine Otis was Jimmy Otis.
Oh yeah.
Jimmy's like 4 years older than us.
Remember Jimmy? Yeah.
3 years older. And I always remember watching him in Little League. And then he actually did play junior high basketball against other teams. I remember going to watch him play and how, man, I'd love to play like that and this and that. And then getting older, and he got into high school and junior high. And all those guys in his grade, him, Brian
Well,
Barr,
he would have been a senior when he was a freshman, right? So I do remember.
Yep. All,
Yep.
Paul's brother Doug.
Yep.
We always used to go to the games.
Yeah. Oh, so there was a
when we were on
happening.
when we were on JV football.
Yeah.
We Mitch's mom would throw us in the car. I remember going to a Saturday game in North Branch.
I do too. Yeah, I remember.
We went and watched them play.
Yeah.
They were like freshmen in high school.
Yeah.
And it was cool because you wanted to be like them.
Yeah, definitely.
So I always admired Jimmy, even in high school, watching him grow up. But one quick story about Jimmy. We were always good friends. I was in his wedding and stuff after, and I always admired him. When I was a sophomore on JV basketball, had a good year and had a game on Friday night against Cass City, and I think I had like 24 points, and we ended up beating them. And I had a good game.
Okay.
And he was at the game. He was in college at the time, but he came home. And about a week later, Mrs. Spidell
Yep.
was our English teacher in 10th grade. She hands me a letter, and I thought, what is this? Well, Jimmy was friends with Mrs. Spidell, so he wrote me a letter and gave it to
Very
me.
good.
I don't know if I ever told you
No,
that
I never
story.
heard that story before.
He wrote me about a 2-page letter about how much he enjoyed me watching me play and how much better I could be if I keep working, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, that's-
I kept that letter in my wallet for like 10 years.
Wow, that's a powerful story. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then I ended up getting rid of it because it was just like paper scraps.
Yeah. Oh, that's
You
cool.
know.
Cool story. Yeah.
You know,
Awesome.
We didn't think about it that way. We just stuff in our
Yeah,
wallet
yeah.
instead of laminating it and keeping it like you do. So,
Right.
I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
I think we're
Very
going to
cool.
do a little bit more shout outs and people.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
You know, it's all not about sports with us as much as we love sports, but we love our friends and family.
Friends and family. Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
So we're going to keep doing that. But, so, March Madness is over.
Too bad.
Very, very too bad. And I know this is the most basketball games that I have watched in an NCAA tournament in years. And I know you watch more than me.
I do, and I have over the years, and continue
Right.
to. It's nice to have them on every game, as
So-
we talked about before. But
Give me your opinion.
best tournament I've seen in maybe ever, maybe not ever, but the types of games they were, the types of matchups that were going on, amazing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Every single game.
Yeah, in games you didn't think might be not going to be great games, they just turned out to be great. Well, the championship game. I mean, I was wondering if they were going to get to 50 for a while there, but
Yeah.
it was awesome. I mean, unbelievable game.
And it's like Virginia. I think I talked about that before. They were down by double digit, by 16 first round. And they came back, and I thought, maybe they got over that hurdle. Well, they got lucky.
They got lucky,
Against Purdue.
but they would be a good example of the whole tournament if their last 3 games were. I mean, they could have lost all 3 games easily.
Yeah. All those teams. Well, the only team that couldn't have was Texas Tech.
Right.
I mean, they were just.
Yeah, they played really well.
We're not even going to get.
No, we don't.
Against Michigan.
Right.
Michigan State, but the tournament was, to me too, and I thought it was the best tournament I've seen. And I want you to respond to this. I thought this was the first tournament I've seen in a long time in basketball that I've never seen so many guys give so hard an effort every single game. I mean, effort. Guys have always given effort, but it just seemed like this. It was back and forth, and guys diving for balls and.
It was. That's a good point, and I know we're going to talk about this a little bit, but I think it was an older player out there this year.
Yeah, that's what
I know there's always a lot of freshmen, okay, but I just felt like there was guys like that had invested more time, 2 or 3 years, and really I think that showed in the way that they played. I think it there was a desperation about some of the players and teams that played with the edge
And what got me, why I really got in this tournament is we know about Zion and R.J. Barrett and Cassius Winston. But there's guys that came out that I didn't really know about. I didn't know anything about this Culver from Texas Tech.
Yeah, you hear about him, but you don't see him that much, And I've seen him a couple times during the year.
And the Auburn kids.
The Auburn kids were amazing.
You were right on with that Auburn pick.
Yeah, I had them getting to the finals. Which
you sucked on the Kansas State Buffalo, but you were good on the Auburn pick. But
yeah,
that was a good team. You know what? You never know. Ifs and buts. But if they would have had their best player,
they still had a chance to win the game.
But man, I tell you, I was just glued to those games because they were just tight.
They were. And you couldn't like turn it off. It was amazing.
No, and, big shots, big plays.
Every game seemed to be like that.
Right, and the coaches were just working it.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, I was just impressed, and the thing is. Well, I want to get into the one and dones in 4-year now, and we're not going to get into Michigan State. We'll do the Michigan guys bailing on us at a later date. But the one and dones versus 4 years, you brought it up.
Yep.
One and done, you got the Dukes, you got the Kentucky.
We got most every team, and the major teams now have a 1 or 2 guys that potentially, will go pro or attempt to go pro.
But you look at the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Auburn's a pretty veteran team.
They are.
I think. I mean, you probably know the roster.
They are.
Better. I mean,
yep.
Texas Tech was a veteran.
Well, they're sophomores and juniors. Auburn.
Obviously, Virginia's a veteran team.
Yep.
And State is pretty veteran.
They're pretty veteran. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, they've lost McQuaid. Probably. I don't know if they're going to lose Wade or not. Or Ward. And McQuaid and Goins.
Yep.
And they got a nice nucleus coming back. But, you look at the young teams out there who didn't make it.
I think, and I agree with what you're saying. I think there's a kind of a changing in the one and done as compared to guys sticking around. I think the NBA actually would like them to stick around a little longer.
Yeah, but I saw a scroll last night that the CBA coming out in 2022.
Yeah.
They want to get rid of it.
There's a fine line there, and I know there's a lot of talk about why, and you can't stop a kid from wanting to go to the NBA. But I think it makes more sense for them to stay. Obviously, our teams would be better. Obviously, I think this is a good example of why the tournament was better.
Well, this is my next point I was going to bring up to you, and I want you to respond to this. Can you imagine what the NBA, or not the NBA, the NCAA basketball, the NCAA football would be like if these players had to stay at least 3 to 4 years?
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I don't think you can stop it.
No, you can't.
But
how how they talk about ratings? They talk about watching sports. NFL football I think is number 1 in the country.
Yeah, they're
me, but
yeah, I think overall, yeah.
But can you imagine what would happen if like Duke in Kentucky doesn't have one and dones anymore?
Yep.
So you got a Zion Williamson and R.J. Barrett. Okay? Mm-hmm. So Mike Krzyzewski's already recruiting his kids for next year because they're going to leave. Where if they stay? Where are these kids going to go?
Right.
They're going to go to another school.
Yeah.
And I think that brings about parity.
Yeah.
I think some of these, and it trickles down. Yeah. You got kids that might be in the Big Ten that if you had that trickle down, they might end up being in the MAC at the lower end kids.
I don't disagree with you. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Oh, it's not going to happen. But in a dream world, can you imagine if all those kids had to stay?
Yeah.
The ratings.
Yeah.
I think college basketball and college football would be the most popular sports in the country.
But the other side of that is that they're already getting good ratings.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's just like I said.
I think that's
in a dream world.
That's our thing because I think it was a little bit more like that when we were younger.
Right.
Guys were there.
There's so much talent out there, and it feels like it only goes to a certain amount. But like you mentioned, Texas Tech, they built it. They got to the final game.
Yeah.
Almost could have won in Virginia.
Well, they did get something. One thing that happens in college now more than ever is guys graduate and have another year of eligibility. They did have a few of those, or transfers. They did have, I mean, that's always been going on, but graduate transfer type guys. Mooney, I think, was one of those guys.
Yeah, I like that rule too.
Yeah. So they have almost a whole new roster this year, and they were in the Elite Eight last year. Right? I don't know if you remember.
But they were older.
They were older.
They weren't young kids.
No, and I think it goes back to our point is that definitely a senior, junior, senior is laying it on. They know their time's short.
Don't get me wrong. Zion Williamson still is the best player in college basketball.
Yeah, for sure. He was amazing.
He's a beast.
Yeah,
I mean, he's done things I just couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
So, okay, we agree on that. Let's move on. I want to talk about the Pistons.
The Pistons.
The Pistons. Well, we made the playoffs.
Talk about potentially one and done.
Well, I texted you last night, and I thought that before the game started, I said, "This is one of these games we'll probably just end up blowing it."
Yeah.
They
took care of business, and they're a 500 team, right?
Did we end up 41?
Yeah. So, I mean, mediocrity in NBA. I mean, the Pistons are part of that. I mean, I'm glad they're making the playoffs. I'm a Pistons fan, obviously.
I'm just like, you got a team that's under 500 makes the playoffs.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
is there too many teams?
I mean, that's an old argument. I just don't. I think it's never gonna. That's not gonna change. Like same as reseeding. You know, the East is weaker than the West. You know, but it tends to go in cycles.
They always talk about this,
Yeah.
like especially in hockey.
Yeah.
Are there too many teams in hockey? Is it watered down?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't watch enough hockey anymore. If Red Wings are good again, I'll start watching them. But
Well, I don't think teams are getting out of the professional sports.
No.
I think that I mean, they could probably add more before they get.
I'm sure they want to.
Yeah. So
And you see how many hot soccer teams there are?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
But I think the Pistons will. I'm gonna predict today that they're gonna win 2 games against Milwaukee.
So, did you fall down on the way home again? You keep falling down and give me. I don't think well, if we don't have Blake Griffin, I don't think we'll win a game.
He'll play, I think. That's my opinion, but I think he's. I think they rested him, and with the idea that he's going to play.
The only thing I think is.
Let's see how close I am.
You might be right. Is Milwaukee going to look at this matchup and say, okay, we're going to think about
That's part of
one's
it.
coming up?
Yep.
You think we can sneak 1 or 2?
Yep. I actually
You know,
think that I'm even go bolder and say that I think they're going to sneak one out in Milwaukee.
It's probably going to be the first game.
Could be.
They're going to do it because those are usually the games that, Milwaukee might come out hot at first, but, see, how many times have you seen a team win the first game on the road and they get beat the next 4 in a row? But
I mean, I've watched more Pistons this year than I have in they're better.
What do you think they need to do to win? I'm not saying the matchup, but
I think that they do give teams matchup issues. I mean, everybody can shoot 3-ball, but if the Pistons are able to hit the 3-ball the way they do at times, Andre's, I think, a matchup problem for them too.
because the big boy from Milwaukee.
I mean, he's a matchup problem for everybody, but
is he going to match up with Drummond or?
well, that's what I think. Blake is a key. You made a good point. If he's playing, they are a matchup issue for some teams.
I saw today that they weren't sure he's going to play, so that's.
Well, they have until Sunday, so.
Well, he needs to play.
I think he's going to play. So, but I think they could ever win that series. No,
I like Ellington. I think he's a good shooter.
Yeah,
Reggie is.
He's up and down. Kennard gives them. I mean,
I tell you, the guy that gives a spark is this man.
that guy's a. I mean, he's a player.
It's too bad that Reggie couldn't guard a 2 and put those 2 on the floor at the same time.
Yeah, I mean that could be something that. And I think the one thing that's underrated is, and I know. Casey has been knocked out in the first 2, against Indiana or against Cleveland, but I think he's a really good coach. I think he gets a lot
I
of
think
his
he's got a lot out of this group this year.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think Jackson didn't have a bad year. He's normally hurt all the time, or whatever. Not a great year, but not as bad as he had last year.
No. But they really seem to play together at times. I mean, most of the time. I mean, I think you got.
Andre's been awesome this year from the fact that he gets his doubles, but he's starting to hit free throws.
He could have went the other way. I think he's really improved his overall game and being part of that group of.
You can't do that hack and shack thing with him anymore.
Right.
He's going to more likely hit one out with you.
He is. He is. I've seen him make more this year than he's last 5 years.
I thought he really came on this year, and I liked Ellington. Kennard's not a bad player.
We gives them a little bit.
Yeah, we got some younger guys.
Yep.
It's going to be a tough matchup.
Oh, it will be.
Milwaukee's number one. See, obviously, I want Pistons to win, but if Pistons don't beat Milwaukee, I'm probably going to root for Milwaukee the rest of the way because our hometown boy John Horst from Sandusky is the general manager of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, he's done a great job there.
I actually, when John was in high school, I was assistant coach his senior year.
Right.
And Dennis Malloy was his, I think, coach in junior high, maybe in high school, freshman or whatever.
Yeah.
So Dee knows him really well. Everybody around Sandusky, so John's a great kid. So
he's done well.
He worked out of college. He worked for the Pistons, and then
worked his way.
General manager went to the Bucks. He went with them.
Yeah.
And then, so I'm working for them. So playoff basketball, playoff hockey. I like it on TV. April in the D. There's all kinds of sports on.
Yeah.
So
it's a good time of year.
In the background, we got the Masters. Going on.
It's great. It's a good.
I'm hoping that people are watching us and not the Masters. So maybe I should move and block it out because I'm sure if Ted and Dee are watching it, they're watching the Masters. So
they're like, "Hey, get out of the way."
yeah, sucking that gut. So. All right, let's did Pistons. I want to do another Piston thing. That kind of old school. We like the old school stuff. We used to watch.
We do.
Back in the day, the only time we could get the Pistons or Red Wings was on Channel 50
or the radio.
Yeah, old Bruce Martin and George Blaha.
We couldn't get 50 on M19.
Yeah, I heard.
We didn't have a big enough.
Our friend Stevie from Chicago or Charlotte. I think he was in Charlotte, North Carolina, was talking about that, how they would try to watch Hockey Night in Canada on Channel 9, and his brother Terry would be out with the antenna going, and Steve would be inside trying to get the dial.
We could get it on 42, Channel
Terry, with every other word was the upward coming out of his mouth. So I love that story. But those two were nuts about sports. And Channel 50, same way, it wasn't HD back then.
Right.
It's one of these rotaries that you turn it and go, and outside the antenna's turning around, but you could get it. And I remember back in the 70s is when we started getting into like the Pistons.
Yeah.
So into that, from that era to the present or whatever, you have like 5 of your, not the best Pistons or greatest Pistons ever. It's like every team does that. I want your favorite guys that you love growing up watching. Or it could be today too.
Yeah. There's oh, you want 5?
You have 5?
Sure. I can give you 5. Probably from the early days. I mean, I know he's one of the all-time great Pistons, but Bob Lanier was.
He's on my list.
The Dauber. Yeah. He's definitely he's maybe my favorite because of what you just said. That he was the first Piston I really.
When I first remember watching the Pistons or anything about the Pistons, it was Bob Lanier and Dave Bing.
Yep.
And I remember Bing got traded.
Yep. Bing.
But I remember Blaha gave him the nickname Big Dauber.
Yeah, he was the man. He was the first Piston that I really.
He was the first Dauber, and Bob was the second Dauber.
Right.
Big old left-handed Bob. So we still call him Dauber.
But Dave wasn't on my list to think of. But yeah, he definitely was part of that too. But
speaking of Dave Bing, after he left, we had another point guard. I didn't have him as one of my favorites, but I really liked him. Remember, was that Eric Money?
Oh yeah, okay.
Little guard, little Sneaky guy.
Yep, sneaky guard.
I
Yeah.
always like watching him.
Yeah,
So,
he's good.
anybody else?
My other ones, I'd probably say that then into the 80s, the Isaiah beginning. I mean, Isaiah's got to be.
I haven't.
I mean, that group. Actually, his first group when he first became a Piston.
Yeah.
A guy that I really liked with him at that time was Terry Tyler.
Yeah. UD.
UD guy. Yeah. So.
Well, we'll just go back and forth because you got the first two I had. You said Terry Tyler.
Yes.
Same era for me. John Long.
Right.
They played together
Right.
at UD, and I love John Long.
Yeah,
He could shoot.
We went to a few games at the Silverdome.
Oh, yeah.
At Silverdome.
Yeah.
Like, that was like quite an
I
atmosphere.
remember Terry Durod played on that
Yep.
team too.
Yep.
We had 3 guys from UD, plus we had Vitale that coached 1 or
Couple
2
years.
years.
Yep.
Too many.
Yep. But then my guy like into my next group is Vinny Johnson and Bill Embier were 2 of my all-time favorites.
Microwave.
Yep.
Or what we Dirty Body used to call them, the Bridge.
The Bridge. Brooklyn Bridge. Yep.
Yeah.
So.
What I got, well, obviously Joe D. I always love Joe D.
Yeah.
There's so many, but a guy I really liked, played with Isaiah. He might have played with Joe D. I know he played with John Long, was Kelly Tripucka.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Man, he could score.
Yep.
I remember they had that one game, it was a high scoring game in NBA history. I don't know if it still is, out in Denver.
Denver. Yeah. I was gonna say.
He had like 50 and Isaiah had 40 something,
Yeah.
and Long had like 30 something.
I think it might be still the highest. Or second highest.
Yeah.
Somebody might have beat it.
But then Alex English from Denver, he had about 60.
Dan Issel.
Dan Russell, God. Fat Lever.
Yeah.
Fat Lever. Good team. So, all right, good. Eventually we get other. I want to do some more favorites. I like doing favorite stuff.
Yeah.
Growing up.
Yeah, those are fun.
Not the greatest, but our favorites growing up.
Yeah,
Because I got a
favorite.
favorite. I got a favorite Lion, but it's not probably who most people would pick. But you would probably say, yeah. But I'm not going to tell it to you.
We'll save that one.
We'll save it. We'll save that for like the draft when it comes to Lions, and then we'll talk about the draft. We'll bring up some Lion stuff.
Cool.
One segment we're going to do Tigers coming up soon. So let's end this up. My son Ben, I called him up. I like to, you and him are buds. So
Yeah.
I asked him
We gotta get him on
if
the
he
show.
wanted. Yep. If he wanted me to give you a trivia question.
Oh, he's trying to stump me now, huh?
I think you'll get this. He says, I'll give David an easy one. I know he's not very smart, so. No, he doesn't. He goes, in 1968,
All right.
Game 5 of the World Series,
Game 5.
who got thrown out at home to change the momentum of that World Series?
I want to say it was Lou Brock.
Give that man a cigar! You got it right.
Let's go.
Remember Willie Horton threw him out? Three-hand block plate. And they were ahead
Yeah.
3 games to 1, right?
Yeah. It was 3-1. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we ended up pulling that game out
Yep.
and winning the next 2
Yep.
on the road.
I do remember that though.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Lou
So,
Brock was one of the fastest guys in the league, maybe the fastest at the time.
well, at the time though, you watch it on the highlights, the ball was hit, and Willie's throw was like,
Moonshot.
moonshot, and you could see Brock before you even saw the ball, like he was going to touch home plate, and the ball just skipped in the free hand's mitt, and he had it blocked. So you could block it back
Then, yeah.
He couldn't touch it. He just bounced off free hand. Oh. So that was a turning point. So Ben wanted me to give you that. So that was a good trivia question.
One
Yeah.
for one.
No, I think, did he give us some other one? 2 for 2?
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah, you got another one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I gave you that. Tommy Lasorda and
Oh yeah.
Sparky.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's close her up for another show. I'm not going to go back to Everest for a while, so we'll try to get more shows on. I have to take a week out, a little tired. So, I'm still packing my parka under here. So